Joining us right now is Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. As we are in the thick of the fall season, heading toward the winter, and people still looking for those fun fall travel opportunities and to see the colors late in the season here in the state of Michigan. Dave, thanks for being with us.
Well, it's good to be with you. Thank you. I'm actually from the side of the expressway at a Speedway gas station, which reminds me that, we still have so many challenges to deal with in addition to COVID, including these supply chain issues and inflation. It's been on my mind knowing that this would happen for quite some time. It's going to negatively affect the travel industry, but, in some ways, I think the travel industry is going to be able to help people at this difficult time by providing experiences which they can use either for gift-giving ideas or just to relax and unwind and kind of get away from some of these stresses of the day that we're all dealing with today.
Yeah, you've mentioned it before, Dave. We have so many sights to see in the state of Michigan, so many hidden gems that people can go to as destinations to get that getaway. And so I think that's a great idea to be giving gifts this season that are travel focused. People can stay here in the state of Michigan. They don't have to go all too far to see something really spectacular here in the Great Lakes state. And what's really good about this travel industry right now and some brightness in the future is that the Pure Michigan campaign will be coming back in full swing after about a $30 million appropriation. The campaign is scheduled to reboot beginning as soon as this coming winter and into the 2022 year. How is that going to be going, and what should people be expecting to see from Pure Michigan really soon?
Yeah, in fact, I've just left a series of meetings that we've had this last couple of days in Detroit with our agency partners, MMGY Global, owned out of Detroit. Their base camp is in Kansas City, but we're really happy that they're setting up a new office in Detroit to build out their Detroit operation. To help us on the marketing end. And then Finn Partners, another Michigan business, is going to be helping us on the public relations and social media side. But, the challenge with the way we fund the Pure Michigan effort is really along timing lines. The state budget starts October 1 of each year. And by this time of the year, by the time we know what our budget is, we're scrambling to put together a package which really helps generate travel in the winter months. So we're moving quickly on all the onboarding processes that you go through with new partners, in addition to preparing for a winter campaign, which we hope will inspire travel this winter at a really challenging time. And we're already looking toward the warm weather season. We're really happy to have a $30 million budget. I think it's an appropriate level of budget for this year, considering all the needs that the state has. Last year we had a $15 million budget, and the prior year we were without budget. And that was after having a $36 million prior to that budget. So we've had this real roller coaster of budget. And I'm not a guy who believes it's all about money, because it's not. It's about ideas and innovation and working with partners and collaborating. But there are times when you get to a certain point where money makes a big deal of difference. And we're there right now. So our challenge going into this next season is going to be, handling all these scheduling issues we're now dealing with, and coming up with the right message that both inspires travelers, makes them aware of the opportunity to safely travel, and as we mentioned earlier, of the possibilities of using travel as a gift-giving opportunity when, unfortunately, a lot of those things aren't going to be on the shelves this season.
We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And Dave, as the Pure Michigan campaign comes back, what will be the theme or the focus of the revamped campaign as you begin to push these out, not only regionally, but beyond the state of Michigan as well?
We've always led with nature kind of imagery in our campaign because it's so compelling. And even if you're not looking to go to using a trail or going on the water or enjoying our, millions of acres of forest. It's inspirational and it's aspirational. It makes you want to be there, even if you're kind of an indoor person and would rather just, sit in a spa all day. These things inspire you to look at that place in a different way, which we call Pure Michigan. So that type of a message will continue, but it's going to be really important for us that we do our best to also get people back to the cities, because we're starting to have this rebound in the travel industry. We were hardest hit of any sector of the economy because of COVID. Everything had to be shut down for a while. And then when we started to come back, we couldn't find enough employees. We're still there to a great degree. And then we still have a lot of people hesitant to travel because of COVID. So we're dealing with all these challenges at the same time, and we're having an unbalanced recovery where, northern Michigan communities have been seeing some real good increases, while the cities have been seeing decreases. No business travel for conferences, conventions, not as much sports travel, things like that. So as we move forward, we need to take all these things into consideration. We'll continue to use these compelling images that we've always used. Our plans are continue to use the Tim Allen voice, because when you hear what he says, he means it, and he does. And so we want to get him back on contract. And we need to also, as we think of all these things, think about other sociological issues we're dealing with. All this conversation of diversity, equity, inclusion. Travel has always worked in this area, because if nothing else, by welcoming all to an area, we're encouraging people to mix with other people who look different, sound different, act different. So we've been the greatest exporters of understanding of each other forever, but we need to be a little more intentional with that as well. So, these are the times that marketers both fear and look for because of the challenge. So we have some great challenges. Thankfully, we have very talented people helping us along the way, both in our office, at our agency representation offices, and with the rest of the travel industry, which invests a lot more money than the state does to encourage people to travel.
We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, today on the MegaCast. Learn more information at michigan.org. And of course, Dave, you were recently quoted in mibiz.com in an article about the revamped Pure Michigan campaign, saying that you believe 2022 will be the year when America and the world discovers how to travel in the new environment. What is the new environment, and in what way will people be making that discovery of how to travel in that new landscape?
I think a few things happened during COVID. We realized how much we missed each other. And we missed being places and seeing new things and experiencing things. So I think our consumerism mentality that we want more things has started to wane. And I think that people have started to realize they want more experiences, and they want experiences with people they love, and they want to meet new people that they might get to be friends with down the road as well. So we need to be prepared for this new sentiment of the traveler. And then there are other factors that have come out of, the stress of COVID. I think that we've realized that health is more important than ever. And I think people will be looking for, I guess I'll call it a wellness travel experience. For instance, when I travel for business, I'll often ask the hotel desk, hey, do you have a running trail in the area I can go out and run or hike? Do you have a running concierge by any chance? Somebody who might, run at a certain time with the hotel guests and do a little tour of the area. It's not offered very often, but it's a really cool thing. So things like that. People will be looking for places, like my wife likes to do yoga, but she doesn't like to do it by herself. So when we travel, she'll be looking for places, maybe at that hotel or in that community, where she can enjoy a group yoga opportunity. So this whole wellness travel experience, I think, is going to be really important. And I think kind of multi-generational travel will pick up again, where grandparents are traveling with their kids and their grandkids. or some combination of that, because COVID reminded us that people are more important than things. It's a crazy thing we had to be reminded of, but we did. And I think we're going to be prepared, and I think we're well positioned to provide the experiences that people are going to be looking for.
Yeah, especially with the wide variety of those different experiences that are available at places all throughout the state of Michigan. There's a little bit of everything to do in a variety of different seasons. The fact that we get all 4 seasons here in the state of Michigan and have individual unique opportunities with each of them, I think that only spells for an even brighter future of travel in our state. We're joined by Dave Lorenz. He's the Vice President of Travel Michigan with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, joining us today on the MegaCast. And so we're still in the thick of the fall season now. The weather is starting to turn a little bit more toward seasonable weather for fall instead of more evident of late summer kind of weather as we've had for the longest part of this fall. With that being the case, and we're starting to see some of the leaves turn now later on in the season, how has that impacted the fall travel season here in Michigan, being that it's been weather-wise a little more along the lines of summer, and some of those attractions, particularly the colors and the foliage, hasn't quite been there just yet?
Yeah, we had a really weird summer, which then leads to kind of stressed trees. We either had no rain in places or we had a lot of rain. Both of those experiences stress trees. So with our many variety of deciduous trees that are out there, they have changed in an unusual pattern this year. So the far western UP early in the season, it was spectacular. I mean, I've been up there many times, but it was incredible. And now later in the season, typically we'd see some pretty vibrant colors still, kind of in the middle part of the state at this point for another week. But that's been accelerated a bit. So we're kind of in what I like to call acorn season, where you're going to see a lot of acorns dropping along with those leaves. But you can still see a little bit of color. In fact, I was surprised on 94 between Detroit and Lansing. I could see more color than I expected. So at this point, I really recommend people kind of stay kind of south of Lansing. I would even say kind of south of that 94 line. You might want to consider going east and west along what we call the Sauk Trail, that 12 corridor, the original major route between Detroit and Chicago. So really cool little towns too, as you look at the area, Coldwater and so many others, Marshall, and kind of goes on and on and on. So think about that this weekend and for the next week or so, but don't put it off. I think this will basically be the last week to really see some really good color, and kind of think about the middle of the state, the waterfront parts, like downriver and such, Monroe and whatever. I think we'll have maybe one more week beyond that, but not much more.
We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, today on the MegaCast. And so as those fall colors are coming in late, you talk about the impact of the extended summer season on the fall travel industry. Are you expecting that the fall travel industry, or the fall travel traditions here in the state of Michigan, that season of travel will extend a little bit into the winter season, or will have a little bit more of a blend? And how may that be impacting some of these destinations that typically get the bulk of their business during a typical fall season?
Yeah, this whole year has been a little wacky because, one of the things that happened during COVID is this virtual experience that we can have, virtual work, virtual school, virtual everything if we choose to. So that's provided a new opportunity for people to travel in kind of unique times for them. Used to be when kids are going back to school, basically that would stop a lot of the weekday traffic travel for people. Well, what we're seeing is a lot of adults now who are working from home are using this opportunity to do some, travel, and then kind of work during the day virtually, be it a unique and fun place for evenings. Even some families are doing this and still doing some virtual schooling during the days as well. So I think that's extended the travel experience, and I think it's going to help us, especially in northern Michigan, for fall business this year. I think that'll happen in the winter as well. And then next year, I think we're going to see kind of a return to a more normal schedule. But I do hope that both the education community and families start to think about these opportunities that have come about with a new realization of how to do these virtual experiences. Maybe this will set up an opportunity for us to travel at different times, to use that travel experience as an educational opportunity as well. When my son was young, my wife's a now retired teacher, but everywhere we went was an educational opportunity. So now that we can kind of travel during the week as a family, working with the schools, I think it provides some real opportunities, and we're going to see that next year.
We're joined by Dave Lorenz, Vice President of Travel Michigan with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, today on the MegaCast with us. And Dave, the colors in the state of Michigan still changing on the leaves. I had some family, my mom, my stepdad were recently up north to see the colors with some family, and we're starting to see things turn down here. Where can we get more information on some of those destinations across the state where people can still see the colors and they're in luck this late in the season?
Yeah, we always say your trip begins at michigan.org. You've heard Tim Allen say that many times. And what we mean by that is you go to that website, we have a bunch of information. I think we still have the fall color information on the home page. But if not, go to michigan.org, do a search, fall color. You'll see a map. That should be pretty accurate still. You can kind of adjust it by timing to see what the color seems to be. And then, for next year, make sure to sign up for the fall color e-newsletters that go out as well. And they are pretty detailed on where the best colors are going to be. People are discovering Michigan from all over the country as a fall destination now. So it'll mean in the future, as we come back from the negative impacts of COVID, there's going to be more competition for hotel rooms and such. So get those e-newsletters so you can be prepared to book your places in the future. And like we said, you still have a little bit of time to enjoy it here in the southern part of the state.
And just for reference, on their website, michigan.org, you go about a third of the way down that page, and you'll see a link that says unique fall color tour spots. Click on that. You'll still be able to see some of those unique destinations. Dave, anything else that we should be keeping aware of at this moment in time for the travel industry in the state, or any exciting news that we should be keeping a lookout for in the near future?
Yeah, well, next week when we meet with the Pure Michigan Governors Conference on Tourism in Detroit, I think there'll be some news that comes out of that. There are always, news that comes out about like our award winners. I love the fact that our partners, the Michigan Restaurant Lodging Association, they do what we call the stars of the industry. And we get to recognize people who aren't in the spotlight every day. I mean, people who are in the back rooms of hotels and restaurants and you name it. So, be looking for information about those winners. Makes me tear up every time I see them get the awards, by the way, because it's so emotional to see people being appreciated who aren't used to that in that way. So that's always one of my highlights. But we're also going to have some great speakers, and we'll have some news come out of that. I think the one last thing I'll leave you with was the first thing we talked about. And that is, I think we have a great opportunity to use travel experiences as a gift-giving idea. I like things too, but I love experiences even more so. So think about that for those that you care about. Think about what they really love, and then just reach out to, the destinations. You don't even have to make a specific booking. Just put together some thoughts and some ideas, and then book what you can and have a great time later.
Well, Dave, we appreciate it. Thanks for joining us again on the MegaCast to talk about travel as this extended fall continues here in the state of Michigan.
Tyler, you did a great job. Thank you.